The Powertrain Perspective podcast is sponsored by TransStar Aftermarket Solutions.
Well, hello and welcome to this episode of Powertrain Perspective, sponsored by Transmission Digest and TransStar Industries. Today, my guest is Joe Kripli. Joe is the Executive Director of the Automotive Parts Remanufacturing Association, known to most of us as APRA. Joe, welcome.
Thanks, Bobby. Glad to be here.
Well, you know, every association in the automotive aftermarket kind of has a niche and a purpose. Perhaps you can explain the role that APRA plays.
Sure. Actually, if you don't mind, I'd like to start a little bit from the beginning because we're one of the oldest associations in the world, if you will. Started in 1941, really due to World War II. All the automotive factories were converted to building tanks, airplanes, Jeeps, what have you. And you could not get an automotive component to repair your vehicle. So people started rebuilding them, repairing them, leading to remanufacturing. And that's really where it started. And it really, was peaking in the 70s and 80s. Just to give an example, I mean, I had a Mustang back when I was 18, and I would put a starter on that thing every year, and that was just commonplace, Bobby. It was normal to put a starter on a vehicle every year, and you fix your vehicle. Nowadays, I've got one of my vehicles is a 2013 Expedition, so it's 13 years old. Bobby, I've never put a starter on it. The way the quality is now and everything. So through these, 80 or so years, it's really progressed and changed. So our purpose had to change as we go through all this. And one of our main purposes now is really fighting for the right to repair. That's one of our main goals, so that all of us can work on our own vehicles if necessary or if you want to. And the second is really a networking, putting together a networking group that people, you're looking for something or you're looking for an answer, a question on how to clean a component apart, and we'll put you in touch with the experts that know that. So we consider all of our members relatively experts, and we can connect them together to make their businesses better and improve their quality in that.
I know that World War II is long past us now, but I think a lot of the purpose of remanufacturing parts has to do with sustainability these days.
Yep, it does. It does. That's the new buzzword now, sustainability. And we are a part of that sustainability. So within that, you've got, your manufacturing plants are trying to get to, utilizing solar energy in that and getting 100% sustainability. Remanufacturing is a part of that for all the OEM and independent aftermarket companies. And you're keeping waste out of the landfills in that. You're utilizing components over and over, but you're also, what's failing on these units. So you're improving on those failures. We like to say a remanufactured part is better than new. And people say, well, how can that possibly be? And it's like, because we know what the inherent warranty issues were. We've fixed those. Have a solution for them. And so the product is technically better than it was new. And remanufactured products that are built by a qualified remanufacturer are warranted for the same warranty period as the OEM was.
I recall one time not too many years ago, I had to replace an engine. And I looked at the warranty on it and I asked one of the guys at Ford, because I drive a Ford product, I said, why is the warranty longer on this remanufactured engine than it was on the original engine? He said to me, we had a second chance to get it right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, now APRA probably you sponsor a bunch of events and seminars. Give us the major ones of those that people can participate in.
Okay. I mean, being a global association, we have a number of them. And I'll just start with the global ones. We've got the INA Pace show in July. That's in Mexico City. That's a great automotive show that's well attended. Our APRA European division participates in Automechanica, that's in September in Frankfurt, Germany, as well as the Rematech show, which is in Amsterdam, which will be the following year, will be in 2027. Those shows go every other year. We have our Big R Symposium that's right before Apex, and we're a partner with the HDAW Heavy Duty Aftermarket Week down in Dallas next year, and that's a big show for us as well. It's interesting how heavy duty has really come into play on the automotive side because there's so much competition from Asia Pacific on new components that heavy duty components have kind of lend themselves to more friendliness in the remanufacturing world, if you will.
And perhaps no segment is more in tune with rebuild reman than the transmission aftermarket. Tell me a little bit about how the transmission aftermarket folds into APRA these days.
What makes transmissions different than all the other products that we have with our membership, calipers and starters and alternators and water pumps and all that. You never hear of anybody getting a new transmission. It's always a remanufactured. Even you go to the dealership, it's going to be a remanufactured transmission. So transmissions play heavily within the remanufacturing world. Challenges though are software these days. Again, that's why we do this fighting for the right to repair. We need this legislation. We need to have access to software, especially transmission remanufacturing, especially when you're running it on a dyno. Yes, you can run a test software with it to run it on the dyno, but if you can run it with the actual software that comes with the engine, that comes with the vehicle on the ECU, what better would that be to test the product and make it at that completely OEM quality? I tell you, Bobby, it drives me crazy when you look at software and stuff that they won't release on vehicles that are 15 years old.
Yeah.
Why would an OEM not release software that's on a vehicle 15 years old? They certainly. I mean, that software. There's no secrets to it. It's older. Everything. All the newer software has all the new engineering setups in it. Just release those so at least we can remanufacture and keep people's vehicles on the road longer.
So, if a shop or a remanufacturing operation or a distributor, anyone in between, would like to join APRA, how does that happen? How do you take in membership and who qualifies, that type of thing?
Yep. So membership is easy as far as filling out an application. You can just go online to our website, www.apra.org. And from there, the board of directors reviews the applications to make sure, because what we don't want is people that are not actually remanufacturing or aren't actually suppliers and are just trying to get a list of your members of that. So this gets reviewed, and we simply have two levels. We have a 995 level and a 295 level for a small remanufacturer and a large remanufacturer, or small and large suppliers. So it's very simple. And one of our best things we offer, I think, is our Core Finder program. Everybody's looking for cores because you can't remanufacture a product without core. So we have a Core Finder program that you simply go online, tell us what you want, and we send that form out to all of our core brokers, and they go search for the parts for you.
Yeah, something I forgot to mention is that the core suppliers are avid members of your organization.
Absolutely. They're great members. They support us tremendously, and we try to do the same for them.
Well, very good. What else do you want to tell us about APRA before we shut down here today?
Just that we're here to fight for you. What I find what's interesting as shops get older and there's a lot of consolidation in the industry, the people that were loyal to the industry and supported the industry, the next generations and the generations after that. And I think really, Bobby, because we're so heavily influenced now by YouTube and AI and everything, it's like, well, do we really need an association? And I think, for me, it's yes, you do need an association. Again, that networking and fighting as a group. If you and I go to Washington just by ourselves and try to talk to a legislator or senator or what, yes, stand in line and maybe you'll get an appointment. If you come in, you say, hey, here's an association with over 1,000 members. You need to listen to us because this is affecting the industry and everybody's well-being, and you just get more momentum. So, we've become part of a number of associations, even within the aircraft industry, with the copy and printers associations, medical, because as a group, as remanufacturers, we're all fighting for that remanufacturing right and the right to repair. So the more voices, the better for us and for our industry. And it's a great industry. I mean, I got to tell you, Bobby, I've been doing this for over 40 years. Knock on wood, I've never been laid off. And we always say it's a recession-proof industry. When the economy's down, people are keeping their vehicles, repairing them, and remanufacturing goes up.
Well, Joe, I appreciate you sharing your time with us today and your explanations of how the association is working in behalf of the automotive aftermarket. And I thank you for joining us today on Powertrain Perspective.